Hi everyone, I'm Tracey Hecht, the author of the Nocturnals book series, and today I thought we would read the Slithery Shakedown. So we're going to do the two things that we always do when we read. The first is that we're going to point at sight words that we know as we go. So as you're reading along with me, you can just point at the words that you've already learned or you think you may be learning and are familiar. And the book is filled with them, so you'll be busy. And the second thing we're going to do is practice with the sound s, s. Everybody knows what that sound is made by, right? Which letter makes the sound s? An S, yes. So the Slithery Shakedown has lots of S's for us to say as we read. And today, since I usually bring a special guest to my reading room, I brought a little tiny Bismark. So can you see? I'm bringing him in. He's the tiniest little Bismark. And for those of you who are reading with us for the first time, Bismark is the sugar glider in the Nocturnal Brigade, and he's friends with Don the fox and Tobin the pangolin. So let's get started with Bismark sitting with us on the Slithery Shakedown. Chapter 1. The moon was high. The sun had set. Nighttime had arrived, but Bismarck's friends had not. "They're late," Bismarck said to the darkness. Bismarck tapped his foot. Bismarck put his fists to his hips. Bismarck scrunched his tiny pink nose. This sugar glider was peeved. "We sugar gliders are always on time," Bismarck said. He smoothed the fur on his chest. He admired his fluffy tail. He stretched his stretchy wings. Suddenly, the grass swooshed. Bismarck jumped. A nose popped from the tall reeds. The nose was long. The nose was smooth. The nose belonged to a pangolin. The pangolin was named Tobin. Tobin was Bismarck's friend. Bismarck relaxed. Tobin blinked his little black eyes. Tobin stretched his short neck. Tobin scratched his scaly rump. Tobin had just woken up. He was nocturnal, awake by night, asleep by day. Just then, the grasses swooshed again. Swoosh. That's a good S sound, right? Swoosh. This time, a red fox stepped from the tall reeds. Her fur was soft. Her ears were pointy. Her name was Dawn. "Amigos," Bismarck sang out. "We're all here, the Nocturnal Brigade." Bismarck hopped on a rock. "I shall lead us on an adventure," Bismarck said to his friends. "I am Bismarck the Brave." Bismarck stood tall. Bismarck squatted small. Bismarck puffed out his chest. Tobin giggled. Don's mouth curved into a gentle smile. They were used to their silly friend. Dawn rose from her haunches. "We've been asleep all day," Dawn said. "Why don't we start our adventure with some breakfast?" But as Dawn spoke, something behind Bismarck caught her eye. It was blue. It was shimmery. It made a noise like sss. Can you all do that? Sss. It was a snake. "Did someone say breakfast?" the snake said. Bismarck spun around. Behind him was a long blue shimmery snake. The snake slid from the grass. The snake raised its head. The snake flicked its flickery tongue. "Bismarck, look out!" Dawn cried. Bismarck froze. The snake slithered closer. "Scrumptious," the snake said. "A scrawny little sugar glider. The perfect snack." Bismarck screamed. "Save me!" Bismarck cried. "That snake will turn me into a sugar glider stew." Bismarck scurried behind Dawn. Dawn narrowed her eyes. Dawn took a step forward. Stop, Dawn told the snake. This sugar glider is not your snack. The snake swished its tail. Says who? The snake replied. Says me, Dawn shot back. Tobin looked at his small sugar glider friend. Tobin summoned his courage. And me, Tobin said. See, Bismarck shouted. Says she, and he. Bismarck pointed to his friends. Oh, and me, Bismarck said. The snake stared at the fox. The fox stared at the snake. The sugar glider and the pangolin stared too. This was a standoff. The snake gave a sly smile. The snake stretched very tall. Try and stop me, the snake said. Certainly, Dawn replied. Sure thing, added Tobin. Seriously? Bawled Bismarck. The snake got ready to spring. Dawn snarled. Slither back where you came from, Dawn told the snake. Tobin raised a sharp taloned claw. Take off, Tobin told the snake. Bismarck took a deep breath. Yeah, beat it, you bully, Bismarck sputtered. The snake studied the three friends. One tall, one small, one medium. But together, tough stuff. The snake sputtered. On second thought, the snake said, it might be time for me to skedaddle. Sayonara. And the snake slithered back into the woods. By the stars, Bismarck cried. We scared that bully away. Bravo! Bismarck was shaking. Bismarck, were you afraid? Tobin asked his friend. No, Bismarck said. I was not afraid. I am brave. Bismarck, Dawn said. Everybody gets afraid. Oh, goodness, that's true, Tobin said. I was scared of that snake. I was also scared, Dawn said. You can be scared and brave, too. But I am Bismarck, Bismarck said. Sugar glider spectacular, strong, spunky, and never scared. Tobin smiled. Dawn raised one eyebrow. But Bismarck gasped. Something blue and shimmery had caught his eye. Bismarck blinked. Bismarck tried to be brave. Bismarck bent low to see. The thing was blue. The thing was shimmery. But the thing was not slithery. By the moon, Bismarck said. Look here. That snake slithered right out of its skin. Bismarck reached for the snake skin. He held it up high. He tore off a piece. He tied it around his neck. I am brave, Bismarck declared. Bismarck gave a piece to Tobin. Oh, goodness, Tobin said. Tobin twirled in his new blue cape. Bismarck gave a piece to Dawn. Very nice, Dawn said. Dawn admired her new shimmery shawl. The perfect uniform for our perfect brigade, Dawn said. The Nocturnal Brigade, Tobin cheered. Bismarck smiled. Bold in adventure, and best of all, brave. You can see right here that Bismarck is still wearing his snakeskin cape. Do you see that? So one of the things that would be nice is for you to think about and maybe even talk to a friend or a parent or a sibling or even your stuffed animals if that's who you're reading to. Times when you felt scared but also felt brave. Because in this book, The Slithery Shakedown, these three friends not only stand up to a bully, but they stand up to a bully and are really brave. So this book is a really fun book to talk about with a friend. and you still have all of your fun S words like snake words and shakedown and slithery. There's so many in here to find that start with that sound S, and lots of sight words. And I like talking about this book too because I think it's really important to remember that you can be scared and you can also be brave. And that's a fun thing to remember from your friends and yourself. Okay, thank you so much for coming. Have a great day.